Hello, my name is Josh Sherman. I'm a civil engineer too with the Public Works and Natural Resources Department, Engineering Services Division. I'm here today with several staff members from other city departments to present this pre-recorded video for the 2016 to 2020 Capital Improvement Program. The draft 2016 CIP will be part of the 2016 budget presentations at the September 1st City Council meeting. City staff will be available at that meeting to answer any questions. This presentation will include updates to several high-profile 2015 CIP projects and will offer an introduction to select 2016 CIP projects. Project categories that will be covered today include water and wastewater utilities, downtown redevelopment projects, sanitation projects, transportation projects, public buildings and facilities, Longmont power and communications projects, parks and recreation, and drainage projects. I will start the staff presentations with an update to the water and wastewater projects and downtown redevelopment. MUS 53, Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation and Improvements. This is an annual rehabilitation program for the city's sanitary sewer collection system, which has over 326 miles of buried pipeline and access manholes. An annual assessment of the collection system is conducted each year by the Operations and Engineering divisions to select pipelines to be rehabilitated or replaced each year. Typically, existing sanitary sewer lines are repaired in place using a pipelining system which does not require the pipe to be excavated and replaced. This method of repair is cost-effective and provides for the least disturbance to customers and transportation street system. The 2016 city plans to rehab over 4,000 linear feet of sewer main. MUS 149, the wastewater treatment plant master plan improvements. Phase 1 improvements for this project were funded by a bond approved by voters in 2009. The primary work associated with Phase 1 included construction of a new headworks facility and primary clarifier improvements. These projects were completed in January 2015. The gravity thickener pump improvements, the final project funded by the 2009 bond, is currently under construction and is expected to be completed in early 2016. Phase 2 improvements are required to meet more stringent water quality standards enacted by the state in the city's most recent permit renewal cycle in December 2011. This design-build project is currently in the final design and construction phase for a new dewatering facility and secondary process improvements. The city agreed to a guaranteed maximum price with a selected contractor in August of this year. A large portion of the work required to meet the new state permit limits will be funded by a bond that was approved by the voters in 2013. The total design-build project cost is $33.6 million and will take 2 years to complete. MUS 151 Interceptor F Rehabilitation. During the flood event of 2013, the Interceptor F sanitary sewer siphon under the St. Vrain Creek behind the Harvest Junction Shopping Center and the Trunk 3 sewer main crossing at the Main Street and St. Vrain Creek were washed out. This project reconstructed the Interceptor F sewer siphon and realigned the Trunk 3 sewer main to the new siphon. Essentially, 2 sewer creek crossings were combined to create one crossing, which provides for less long-term maintenance and reduces the future risk in the event of another large storm event. Construction was started in mid-May of this year, and the project was recently completed this month. Completion of these projects eliminates the temporary pumping system that has been installed at Main Street and the St. Vrain Creek. MUW 66, Water Distribution Rehabilitation and Improvements. This is an annual asset management program for the city's water distribution system, which includes over 440 miles of potable water mains. This project improves water service to affected areas that are currently being served by old, deteriorating lines that have experienced frequent breaks. This project also improves fire flows and water quality in the pipe network and reduces long-term maintenance. Approximately 5,000 linear feet of water line are replaced each year. Additionally, this project repairs or replaces minor items at existing water distribution facilities. This year, cathodic protection anode beds for the city's 27-inch water main from the Nelson Flanders Water Treatment Plant are being replaced, and the Skyline Tank Pump Station is being upgraded this winter. At this time, the proposed 2016 CIP includes just waterline replacements. MUW 109, the Clover Basin Water Transmission Line. This is a two-phase project. Phase 1 consists of installing 2,480 linear feet of 36 diameter pipeline and 4,160 linear feet of 30-inch diameter water line. The project location is 1 mile west of Airport Road, from Hygiene Road to St. Vrain Road. Phase 2 continues the water line south to Nelson Road by installing 6,850 linear feet of 30-inch diameter water line. This project will increase water transmission capacity to the southwest portion of the city. Phase 1 design was substantially completed in 2005. Project permitting and construction is being coordinated with Northern Water's Southern Water Pipeline Supply Project. Boulder County conditionally approved a 1041 permit in 2003 for this project and extended the permit to 2011. Acquisition of easements, ditch company agreements, railroad licensing, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineer authorization will be completed prior to construction. Planned work for 2016 includes completing easement acquisition, landowner agreements, permitting, and updating environmental studies. The goal is to advertise the project for bidding concurrently with Northern Water's project in the fall of 2017. Construction is then planned for the fall and winter of 2018. Again, however, the project schedule is contingent upon Northern Water's project. MUS 153, the South St. Vrain Pipeline Improvements. This flood reconstruction project consists of repairing the breach of the south bank of the South St. Vrain Creek at the pipeline diversion structure and replacing over 1,500 linear feet of 24-inch diameter ductile iron pipe, including crossings at the South St. Vrain Creek and the North St. Vrain Creek. This project is substantially complete, and revegetation of the area will be completed later this fall. MUW 183, Price Park Tank Replacement. There are two existing storage facilities at Price Park, a 7 million gallon below-grade reservoir built in 1922 and a 2 million gallon below-grade reservoir built in 1955. The 7 million gallon reservoir is nearing the end of its useful life, and the 2 million gallon reservoir is no longer in service due to the age and condition of the reservoir. This project includes demolition of both of those facilities and construction of a new 5 million gallon above-grade concrete storage tank and associated piping. This project will improve water service to the pressure zone generally located south of First Avenue and east of South Sunset Street by replacing the aging infrastructure, raising the water pressure to meet the quality of life benchmark, and reducing water age in the reservoir. This project was identified in the 2012 Integrated Treated Water Master Plan as a recommended project. Planned work for 2016 includes conceptual design. MUW 185, Button Rock Flood Repairs. The 2013 flood completely washed out several sections of Longmont Dam Road within Button Rock Preserve, restricting access to Ralph Price Reservoir. During the flood, Longmont Reservoir was completely filled with granular material and debris, and several other park amenities were damaged. An emergency access road was constructed in the winter of 2014 by removing granular debris from Longmont Reservoir and using that material to rebuild the road. The first project of this CIP was to construct gabion basket retaining walls adjacent to the emergency spillway channel. This work was completed in early spring of 2014 and reestablished vehicular access to Ralph Price Reservoir. Permanent roadway improvements from the Button Rock Preserve parking lot to the emergency spillway outfall were completed in early 2015. Permanent improvements included gravel road reconstruction with replacement of several minor culverts and reconstruction of 3 major culverts. A new corrugated steel pipe culvert was replaced at the Sleepy Line Trail and at the emergency spillway discharge into the creek. Each of these culverts were reconstructed with new concrete head walls and wing walls to provide resiliency in the event of another flood. A new reinforced concrete box culvert was installed at the Chimney Rock Creek crossing to replace an old metal pipe with a stronger, more durable structure. With completion of the permanent road improvements, Button Rock Preserve was open to the public on June 17th of this year, 643 days after the flood. The final phase of flood repair projects included in this CIP will be a new bridge over the Ralph Price Reservoir emergency spillway channel. A new bridge will restore vehicular access to the top of Button Rock Dam for long-term maintenance and operation of the dam and reservoir. This flood mitigation project will be designed to pass the 500-year storm event, and the bridge will serve as pedestrian access for public hiking trails within the preserve. DR8, Downtown Alley Improvements. The Downtown Alley Improvements project includes the east side and west side alleys, breezeways, and parking lots that are adjacent to Main Street from 3rd Avenue to 6th Avenue. This project is a combined effort between Public Works, Longmont Power and Communications, and the Longmont Downtown Development Authority. The project buries overhead electric services and improves drainage within the alleys and enhances pedestrian access within downtown. The DDA has utilized this area for new opportunities to bring the community downtown. The Phase 1 east side of the improvements are complete. Project advertisement and bid opening for the west side, Phase 2, is also complete. Staff is currently reviewing those bids with the LDDA to confirm available funding. The goal is to issue a notice of award to the apparent low bid contractor by the end of this month and move forward with completing the west side breezeway improvements this year, with construction of the west side alley and parking lot improvements in 2016. That concludes my presentation, and at this time, I will turn it over to the next city staff to present the next projects.
Hi, I'm Charles Kamenitis. I'm the Parks Maintenance and Solid Waste Operations Manager. This project, S4, will redevelop the entry area of the Waste Diversion Center and enhance security and improve customer service to the drop-off areas. An architect was contracted in 2015 to review the site and make recommendations for improvements. Anticipated changes in 2016 will include possible relocation of the trailer and attendant window, improvements to lighting, fencing, access roads, and a possible reconfiguration of the drop-off containers. Should you have any questions or need further information on this project, please feel free to contact me directly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Micah Zagorski, and I'm a senior civil engineer with the Public Works and Natural Resources Department. Today I'm here to provide updates on several transportation improvement projects in the existing and proposed capital improvement program. The first project I'm going to provide an update on is the Street Rehabilitation Program, or Project T1 in the CIP. The street rehab program consists of various contracted services to maintain and rehabilitate the city street system. This is an annual citywide program that is primarily funded by the 3/4 cent street fund sales and use tax that was originally approved in 1986 and was most recently extended by Longmont voters for another 10 years. The street rehabilitation program is the backbone of the city's maintenance and rehabilitation efforts And typical projects include concrete repair, bridge and structure rehabilitation, asphalt patching and overlay, crack sealing, and chip sealing. The city's contractors are in the process of finishing improvements for the 2015 program. Some of the street segments resurfaced this year include 15th Avenue between Hover and Harvard Street, Alpine Street between 3rd and 9th Avenues, Collier Street between Mountain View and 17th Avenue, and South Pratt Parkway between Missouri Avenue and Pike Road. The improvements to South Pratt Parkway also included replacement of the landscape medians. T11, or the Transportation System Management Program, is another annual program whose main objective is to address a variety of safety, capacity, and alternative mode needs within the city's transportation system. Types of improvements constructed with this program include safety and intersection improvements, new traffic signal installation, curb ramp or ADA accessibility improvements, railroad crossing protection and surface crossing improvements, neighborhood traffic mitigation, and projects that advance alternate modes of transportation. Some of the higher priority projects that staff has identified for design and construction in the next couple of years include the railroad surface crossing improvements to the BNSF railroad crossing of 9th Avenue near Twin Peaks Golf Course, shoulder widening for bike lanes on County Line Road between Spring Gulch No. 2 and Jim Ham Pond, and pedestrian and bicycle improvements to the South Pratt Parkway overpass. The Main Street and Ken Pratt Boulevard intersection improvement project is an existing project in the CIP. This is the first of 3 projects that comprise the larger Focus on South Main construction efforts. This project widened the intersection to provide additional capacity in the eastbound, westbound, and southbound directions. Pedestrian sidewalk improvements, landscaping enhancements, and construction of right turn lanes at the Ken Pratt and South Pratt intersection were also included in the scope of work. Construction activity is starting to wind down, and there are just a handful of remaining work items to be completed. All work on this project is expected to be complete by the end of September. The second of the Focus on South Main projects is T111, or Main Street Pavement Reconstruction. The T111 project limits extend from just north of Ken Pratt Boulevard to just south of 3rd Avenue. The work on this project generally includes the replacement of deteriorated asphalt with new, longer-lasting concrete pavement. The city recently awarded this $4.7 million project to New Design Construction, and work is scheduled to begin in late August. Major roadway impacts will begin in September and continue through December of this year. A temporary shutdown is expected over the winter months, and then the remainder of the project will be completed next spring. The construction will be completed in various phases, with the first phase including the section of Main Street between 1st Avenue and 3rd Avenue. To facilitate the construction, Main Street will be reduced to 1 lane in each direction. Major delays are anticipated during construction, and alternate routes are suggested. This is one of several city projects that are included in Dr. Cog's Transportation Improvement Program, and this project includes $1.89 million of federal funding. The replacement of the Main Street Bridge over St. Vrain Creek, or T113, is the last of the Focused on South Main projects. This project includes the replacement of a structure that is nearing the end of its life expectancy and doesn't pass 100-year storm flows. The new bridge will be longer and wider so it can handle a 100-year storm event, as well as provide safer pedestrian and bicycle access. Construction bids were recently opened on this project, and the city is currently in the process of reviewing and awarding the project to the apparent low bidder. This $5.5 million project is being funded by the City Street Fund, and to offset a portion of these costs, the city applied for and received a $3 million FEMA grant that will be applied towards the construction cost of the Main Street and the South Pratt Parkway bridges over St. Vrain Creek. The Main Street bridge replacement will be constructed in 2 phases to coincide with the Main Street pavement reconstruction project. Construction of the bridge is expected to start in October of this year and take approximately 9 months to complete. Construction updates on the Focus on South Main projects can be found on the city's website or by calling the hotline number, which is area code 303-774-3676. That's 303-774-FOSM, which is short for Focus on South Main. The South Pratt Parkway Bridge over the St. Vrain Creek project, or T76, will focus on floodplain improvements and asset management of aging infrastructure. This project is funded by the Street Fund and includes the replacement of the existing structure with a longer bridge that will pass the 100-year storm flows and reduce the floodplain impacts on surrounding properties. The new bridge will be wider to better accommodate pedestrians and bicyclists, and this project also supports economic development in the southeast urban renewal area. Design work is currently underway with completion targeted for next year. Construction of the improvements is tentatively scheduled to begin in the fall of 2016. However, this schedule will be dependent on the completion of the Main Street Bridge over St. Vrain Creek, as only one of these north-south bridges will be under construction at any one time. The estimated construction cost of the South Pratt Parkway Bridge replacement project is $4 million. Another bridge replacement project in the CIP is the Sunset Street Bridge over the St. Vrain Creek, or Project T77. This project includes the replacement of the existing structure and roadway section that was damaged during the 2013 flood. The new bridge will be longer and is being designed to pass 100-year storm flows. It will also include attached sidewalks and on-street bike lanes to provide needed pedestrian and bicycle connections along this collector roadway. This project is a partnership between the city and Boulder County, and funding for this project will be a combination of federal, state, and local funds. It is anticipated that the federal or FHWA funds will reimburse roughly 82% of eligible costs. The state would pay half of the remaining 18% of the costs, and the city and county would split the remainder of the local match. Design activities for this project are currently completed, and the county is in the process of acquiring the necessary right-of-way to construct the proposed improvements. It is anticipated that construction of the bridge will begin in the fall, with completion of bridge improvements in spring of 2016. Project T78 is an existing project in the CIP and includes the design and construction of a pedestrian underpass under Hover Street at Dry Creek. A grade-separated pedestrian crossing at this location is identified on the city's multimodal transportation plan and will also improve pedestrian and bicycle access between the Village at the Peaks Mall redevelopment and commercial businesses on the west side of Hover Street. The design and construction of the underpass and associated trail connections is being coordinated with the mall. This project is also included in Dr. Cog's Transportation Improvement Program and includes approximately $1.6 million in federal funding. The local match for the Dr. Cog TIP funding will be funded out of the city's TSM program, or CIP T11. Design of the proposed improvements is complete, and the city is currently preparing bid documents for advertisement of construction bids. The construction is projected to begin in the spring of 2016. This project was originally planned to begin construction this summer. However, the construction schedule has been pushed back to better coincide with the decommissioning of Excel's high-pressure gas line in Hover Street. The State Highway 119 pedestrian underpass project, or T91, is an existing project in the CIP. The This project includes the design and construction of a new grade-separated pedestrian crossing of Highway 119 near Hover Street. A grade-separated crossing at this location is identified on the city's multimodal transportation plan and will provide a safer alternative to crossing at the busy 119 and Hover intersection. The project will also complete sidewalk connections to Dry Creek and include a plaza area with an enclosed bike shelter that is similar to the shelter at the RTD bus stop near the Memorial Building. T91 is a joint project between the city and Boulder County. This project is also included in Dr. Cog's Transportation Improvement Program. It includes $965,000 in federal funding, and in addition to the federal funding, Boulder County is also providing construction funding in the amount of $455,000. The city's portion of the local match will be funded out of the TSM program as well. Design and right-of-way acquisition for these improvements have been complete, and the city is currently obtaining the required clearances from CDOT to advertise this project. Construction is anticipated to begin in spring of 2016. The current Longmont Area Comprehensive Plan shows Boston Avenue as a new east-west collector from Price Road to Martin Street. This project includes the design and construction of the first phase of Boston Avenue from Main Street east to Martin Street. The roadway section will include one travel lane in each direction, center turn lane, on-street bike lanes, and sidewalks. Design of the project is currently underway, and construction plans are about 60% complete. The remainder of the design is scheduled to be completed by the end of the year, and construction is scheduled to begin in 2016. Approximately $2.7 million is proposed in the 2016 Capital Improvement Program for construction of these improvements, and the primary funding source for this project will be the City Street Fund. Project T105, or Missing Sidewalks, is a project that supports the city's multimodal transportation plan by completing various gaps or missing segments in the city's sidewalk system. Completing these segments removes accessibility issues, safety concerns, and promotes better connectivity between residential neighborhoods, greenway trails, and commercial businesses. City staff has identified the following segments as being the highest priority. The first segment is west side of Hover Street between 3rd Avenue and 9th Avenue. The second segment is the south side of 9th Avenue between Hayden Court and Hover Street. And the last segment is the north side of 17th Avenue between Spencer and Lincoln Street. The 17th Avenue segment will actually replace a section of deteriorated asphalt sidewalk that is too narrow and does not meet the city's arterial sidewalk standards. Preliminary design of the proposed sidewalk sections is in progress, and the final design is expected to be finished this year. Additional right-of-way needs have been identified, and the city will be starting negotiations with the various property owners this year. The construction is currently scheduled to begin in 2016, and this schedule is dependent on the right-of-way acquisition process. A new project in the 2016 CIP is T127, or the 1st Avenue and Emory Street intersection improvements. This project supports economic development in the southeast urban renewal area and includes the addition of a new traffic signal and railroad crossing gates to improve the safety of the crossing at 1st and Emory. This project will also widen 1st Avenue to provide a new eastbound left turn lane so vehicles waiting to make a left turn during train events will not impede the eastbound through lane. The new crossing improvements will be designed and constructed to meet quiet zone requirements. However, adjacent crossings will require improvements before a quiet zone can be created. Preliminary design efforts are underway on this project, and the final design is expected to be finished in 2015. The proposed improvements will require PUC and Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railroad approval. The budget for this project includes $1 million, with half of this amount being funded by the city's street fund and the remainder being funded by the adjacent development. Construction is anticipated to occur next year, pending clearances and approvals from the PUC and Burlington Northern Railroad. Thank you, Mayor Coombs and members of council. That's the end of my portion of the CIP updates. Staff will be at the September 1st meeting if you have specific questions about the projects that were presented in this video.
Hello, I'm Jeff Cedar, the Facility Maintenance Supervisor. I'm here today to give you a general update on the rehabilitation of the city's municipal buildings. In particular, we'll be including the progress update to 2015 PB 82, which is the HVAC replacement, and building rehabilitation proposed in 2016 through 2020 CIP, as outlined in CIP PB 200 at the Civic Center, PB 201 at the Safety and Justice, and PB 202 at the library. PB 82 is an annual project that replaces heating air conditioning units on city buildings based on their expected life cycle. The 2015 project included the replacement of the Isaac Walton Clubhouse unit, 2 units at the Fleet Building, 4 units at the library, 5 units at the Senior Center, 7 units at the Service Center, and the second heat recovery unit for the pool at the Recreation Center. All of the installations are complete to date except for the Recreation Pool unit, which is currently under construction. Total construction costs of the projects in 2015 was a little over $1.3 million. Moving on to the proposed 2016 through 2020 projects, City owns 34 buildings that were built between 1892 and 2011 with an approximate value of $100 million. Due to several factors, including the age, the last major renovations, and the functions at several sites, including the Civic Center, the Safety and Justice, and the library, an in-depth condition analysis was completed in 2014 and 2015 by a team of architects and engineers. The assessment report identified short-term needs within the next 5 years, or 2016 through 2020, and longer-term needs within the next 5 to 10 years, 2021 to 2030 at each site. This rehabilitation would bring the condition back to average for its age. The format for the report was based on the Construction Specification Institute's master format. A rating of 1 or excellent to 6 relating to a dangerously poor level was given to each building component and assemblies. Consequence of failure varies depending upon the building's functions. With 3 being an average current condition for items, so the items that were rated 3.5 or higher were recommended to be addressed within the next 5 years. The components identified for rehabilitation will give a rating from poor condition back to an average condition. This means that by means of addressing this, the capital project was proposed for each site, and funding is shown in the Public Improvement Fund. PB 200 is the Civic Center project with identified costs $5.6 million short-term and $12.2 million in the long-term. PB 201 is the Safety and Justice site and has identified costs of $1.6 million in the short term and $1.3 million in the longer term. PB 202 is the library project with identified costs of $1.4 million in the short term and about $700,000 in the longer term. It's important to note that the existing buildings and their components need ongoing maintenance. In general, based on the analysis that was completed in these 3 facilities and the overall age and value of the inventory, approximately $2 million should be spent annually in the building rehabilitation process. This assumes a 50-year life per building or about a 2% overall value of the existing infrastructure. And that concludes my portion of the CIP updates. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor Coombs and members of council. I am Brian McGill, a utility rate analyst with Longmont Power and Communications, and today I will be presenting our 2016 CIP budget. LPC's 2016 CIP budget is approximately $19.5 million. As you can see, the majority of the funds are budgeted for two large projects, the citywide fiber build and electric aid to construction. The other projects included are similar to previous years and are intended to increase and improve the electric system capacity and reliability, as well as some minimal service center improvements. In 2014, the city issued bonds for the fiber project in the amount of approximately $14 million to complete the broadband build-out. Construction began in August 2014 and is projected to be completed by year-end 2016. The 2016 budget is $17.3 million, and this represents the remainder of the bond funds that were not spent in 2014 or budgeted for in 2015. This project has gained local, national, and international attention and has been received well by the community. Customer surveys show high satisfaction, and the take rate for those premises marketed to is currently 47%. The 2016 budget for electric aid to construction is $1.4 million. This project is directly tied to the development in the city and is offset by developer-paid aid to construction revenue. This slide from the city's Planning and Development webpage displays the active development throughout the city. It shows the magnitude of the development the city is currently experiencing, which directly affects this project. LPC is the only department in the city that designs and constructs its own infrastructure. LPC staff is involved in the development process from start to finish. Field engineers participate in development review and design the infrastructure, estimate the costs, and invoice the developer. When the design is completed, LPC's warehouse procures the materials needed for construction. After the materials have been received and staged, line crews construct the infrastructure and meter techs install the meters. At completion, each project is reconciled to ensure the costs have been appropriately covered and accounted for. LPC operates and maintains all of its own infrastructure. Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Parks and Natural Resources projects. I am Kathy Crone. Steve Ronswaller and myself will be providing key updates on Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources CIP projects. Steve and I are Park and Trail Development Project Managers in the Natural Resources Division. Key projects we'll be updating you on include Park Renewal projects, PR 188, the Kanemoto Park Flood Recovery, PR 5B, the St. Vrain Greenway, PR 195, Dickens Farm Park, PR 150, Quail Campus Master Planned Improvements, PR 139, Wertman Park, PR 122, Open Space Land Acquisition. So first I'll talk about Park Renewal. Park Renewal is something that's been going on for many years in varying forms, such as park maintenance, asset management, life cycle replacement, park master plan updates, neighborhood revitalization. It's gotten more attention lately due to the 2014 Parks, Recreation, and Trails Master Plan and the realization that a large portion of our park system is over 30 years old. With the recent increase in the Park and Greenway maintenance fee to fund these deferred maintenance issues, the Park Renewal Program has gotten a much needed boost and a lot is being done. This slide lists the CIP projects which represent the Park Renewal Program. They include PR 56 for park buildings, PR 102, swimming and wading pools maintenance, PR 113, park irrigation, PR 121, which is park pond dredging, PR 136, park bridges, PR 143, Garden Acres Park Renewal, PR 147 is Kensington Park Rehab, PR 186 is park infrastructure, things like playground replacements and things like that. PR 190, Stephen Day Park path lighting. and PR 192, Park and Greenway miscellaneous renewal. That catches things that maybe were unexpected. So as an overview, projects that have been completed in 2015 include the cleaning of the Tower of Compassion that allowed us to really assess that structure. The Garden Acres pond dredging was completed. Car Park, the pump was replaced for the irrigation pump. Stephen Day Park got some new path lights on the north end of the park. Sandstone Ranch, the subroofs of the shelters have received renovation. Thompson Park, the path lights have been replaced. And the playground at the north end of Kensington Park, that replacement is complete. And park renewal projects currently under construction include the Dawson Park playground replacement, the Raber Park playground replacement, the playground replacement at Rothrock Dell Park. Athalter Park playground replacement is just getting going, and the Pratt Park and Carr Park tennis courts are undergoing rehabilitation. The Kanemoto Park playground is also a playground that's being replaced, but that'll be covered under the Kanemoto Park update. Park renewal projects that are out to bid or the design is underway include the Spangler Park playground and restroom replacement, the Lanyon Park playground replacement, and the Carr Park restroom shelter building renovation. The design is being completed on that. And also the Tower of Compassion restoration is currently out to bid. And then last but not least, with regards to park renewal, we have Garden Acres. The master plan update, which is also a park renewal plan, was completed this year and accepted by PRAB and City Council in June. Also underway are the bid documents for Phase 1, which is a replacement of the irrigation pump and pump building, which will be under construction this fall and winter. The remainder of the renewal efforts will be phased in 2016 and 2017 to tackle the larger renewal efforts associated with ADA compliance, replacement of the playgrounds, lighting, building renovations, which includes a new restroom facility, a food truck plaza, and a multitude of other renovation items such as fencing, railings, site furniture, drinking fountains, irrigation, and drainage improvements. This will be an exciting park renewal effort resulting in a safe, family-friendly, accessible, and enjoyable park experience at Garden Acres. And now I'll hand it over to Steve to cover the remainder of the Parks and Natural Resources projects.
Hi, I'm Steve Ransweiler. I am the Senior Project Manager for Public Works and Natural Resources, and I wanted to update you on several park and drainage projects. PR 188, the Kanemoto Park flood repairs. As you know, the 2013 floods created significant damage to that park. The irrigation pump station construction has been completed and that is operational. The activity pool construction is about 70% complete, looking to complete that by about October of this year. The playground replacement has just started and that will be completed by the end of 2015. If you remember, the playground was relocated in order to accommodate the new pool location. The Tower of Compassion restoration project is out to bid, and we're expecting that to be done by the end of this year as well. And then once all of this construction has been completed, we'll be coming back in and doing turf grass restoration. And as construction allows, we'll be doing that in the fall of this year and spring of 2016. Along the St. Vrain Greenway, PR 5B, we're still working on flood repairs. In 2015, we've completed the area from Left Hand Creek to Dry Creek. Design is beginning for the work between Sunset Street and Rogers Grove, and that's for the trail construction or reconstruction. And then the construction for that project will be done in coordination with the Sunset Street project, which is slated for 2016 construction. The extensions of the Greenway, Phase 12, which is Golden Ponds to Pella Crossing, the western extension, and Phase 13, Sandstone Ranch to St. Vrain State Park, the eastern extension, those were under coordination before the floods hit. We're still working on the designs of those, but very slowly, and the designs will be completed and the construction will be coordinated with the flood repair projects as we move out those ways. So both of those projects are pushed out several years to accommodate the restoration of the same Vrain within the city. I know that Boulder County is currently looking at restoration of Pella Crossing, so we are working with them on the western extension to try to meet their schedule as well. Adjacent to the St. Vrain is Dickens Farm Park. That's between Main Street and Martin on the north side of the St. Vrain. The master plan was updated in August of 2014, the post-flood master plan anyway. And we're continuing that design in concert with D39, which is the St. Vrain Improvement Project. Staff from both teams are working together, and the consultants for both teams are working together to make sure that both of these projects work, especially with the boating course within Dickens Park, Dickens Farm Park. We're working closely with the consultants for the St. Vrain Improvement Project to make sure the drop structures for the boating course will not adversely impact flows within the St. Vrain. Dickens Park, we'll be constructing either concurrently or just after the adjacent St. Vrain Improvement Project, as well as the Boston Avenue extension. That's anticipated right now for starting construction in winter 2016 or early 2017, depending on the schedule for those two projects. That park project is primarily funded through the Conservation Trust Fund. Quail Campus PR 150. Construction has started right now on the 10 tennis courts and 69 space parking lots. The courts have been poured, and you'll be seeing heavy construction going on just north of the rec center right now. That project is expected to be completed in early 2016, and that's park improvement funds are funding that project. Phase 2 of the Quail Campus improvements is the museum parking expansion. And as you know, with the new auditorium, parking is at a premium over there. So we are currently proposing funding for 2016 design and 2017 construction for a parking lot on the western and northern sides of the museum as shown in the master plan. That lot could accommodate approximately 150 to 200 vehicle spaces, and we'll be working with the adjacent property owner for that project to initiate the land swap that was previously approved by council with the Quail commercial annexation. PR 139 is the Wertman Neighborhood Park. The Wertman property is southeast of the intersection of Quail Road and Main Street, south of the rec center. It's an 8.7 acre park parcel, and design is planned for 2016, including a public process where we'll be meeting with residents around that parcel as well as the city residents citywide to decide how that park will look. Construction's planned for 2017 using park improvement funds. And this, if you remember, this was the next neighborhood park in line per the approved Parks and Trails master plan that council saw last year. And so that's why this one is prioritized at the top. This is a very underserved area of Longmont when it comes to the neighborhood parks. The closest one is probably Kanemoto Park. And so I think the residents will be very pleased to have this new amenity in their neighborhood. And PR 122, open space land acquisitions. 2016 and 18, funding is proposed for property acquisition east of Union Reservoir to serve as a buffer. Properties have not yet been identified, exactly which properties we would be pursuing, but that's what the funds for 16 and 18 are proposed for. 2017, which isn't shown on the slide, is being set aside for D28, which is Spring Gulch number 2 trail extensions. The open space funds will be helping with that project. And then in 2019 and 2020, the plans for the funding is the acquisition of the Tull and Distal properties south of Sandstone Ranch area. And if we do exercise these the options to pursue those property, we'll be working with Aggregate Industries, who are in the process of completing their mining operations on those property, the gravel mining. Moving to drainage projects, D28, as I mentioned before, is Spring Gulch number 2. It's a very exciting trail project from Stephen Day Park underneath Weld County Road 1, connecting the Union Reservoir Recreation Area, and then connecting down to underneath Highway 119 to Sandstone Ranch and the St. Vrain Greenway. It's a long, needed trail project connecting northeast Longmont to the community park, Sandstone Ranch, as well as the Greenway trail system along the St. Vrain. Phase 1 was completed in 2014 with the underpass at Highway 119 at Sandstone Ranch and the trail on the northern side of Highway 119 from that underpass to 3rd Avenue, and that's being well used. Currently, the phase 2 of the project is to connect the trail between Stephen Day Park and Union Reservoir. That's slated for right now for 2017. We're about 65% of the way through the design of that, and that design will be completed by 2016 for bid of that in 2017. And then phase 3 would be the trail construction between Union Reservoir and Highway 119 to complete that project. That's currently proposed for 2019. And then the other drainage project is the Left Hand Creek flood rehabilitation. The repairs from the 2013 flood are complete. The city spent approximately $2.6 million on those repairs, and a large portion of those repairs will be FEMA reimbursable. Because of the timing of the completion of that project, which was summer of 2014, the spring 2015 storm events in May, June were damaged some of the repairs that were previously done because the vegetation did not have a chance to become established, protecting the banks. There was also some new damage that was completed. So the city, working with FEMA and the state and Boulder County, worked with FEMA to get a new declaration for damages along Left Hand Creek and in other areas of the city. But we'll be doing the evaluation of the new damage and designing repairs this fall, and with construction starting as soon as those funds from FEMA become available. So that concludes this the CIP update for the council. And if you have any questions, please contact staff members. Thank you.